Why is God's will important to know? Well, in John 4:31 through 38, Jesus is approached by his disciples and asked, "Have you eaten anything all day?" And Jesus responds by saying, "I know of food that you don't know about. My food is to do the will of the one who sent me." Mark 3:35, Jesus is again approached by some people in a crowd and said, "Hey, your mother and your brother are looking for you." And he says, "Who?" He's like, "Your mother and your brother." And he says, "Well, my mother and brother and sister are those who do the will of God." And so he said, "My family are those who do the will of God." And then in 1 Peter 4, it says that if we're going to live in the flesh, we're no longer going to live for human passions. We're going to live to do the will of God. And for John 15, it says that if we keep his commandments, we abide in God's love. And he's given us these words that our joy may be full. And so to keep it in the F lane here is we no longer have joy in passions of the world, but our joy and our fun, what we find enjoyable and fun, is to do the will of God. And in 1 John 2, it says that though the world is passing away with its desires or passions, similar to 1 Peter, but whoever does the will of God will abide forever. And so why is God's will so important to know? Is because Jesus said it's his food. He said his family are those who do it. 1 Peter says it should be our like passion and joy, and it should be fun, not burdensome for us, and that whoever does it abides forever. And so why is this helpful? Because you go and ask any Christian, what is God's will? And very few know. And so this helps you increase the significance, urgency to then ask the question, well, what is God's will? And that's where you're going to help bring about the obedience of faith within Christians across the globe. And in the simplest answer, God's will, not God's will for my life, which many people ask, just what is God's will, would be whatever is instructive or commanded within the Bible, which is why Matthew 28:18 through 20 says to make a disciple, you teach to obey Jesus' commands. Or you could say, you could teach to do God's will.